Hello friends, Heidi here from Rain Country. God is good all the time. And I'm out here in my greenhouse and you can see my tomatoes. I just brought them out here. I'm not going to leave them out here. It's still too cold this time of the year to leave them out in the greenhouse. I mean, even in the greenhouse, because it's still been getting really cold at night. However, they're really getting too big for these pots. And so this is the best they've ever done, growing them inside, starting them inside, ever. I've never seen them do this good. And so this is really exciting. But I need to get them transplanted into some bigger pots. So I've got some 4-inch pots here. And shush! And I got to keep it simple because I have very limited space to work with in the house. And besides, I like going as simple as possible. Now, a lot of people would take these and put each one into individual little tiny pots. And I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to transplant each one of these pots right into a bigger pot just as is. I can still at this time, if I want to, pick out some of these smaller ones like this one right here that just, you know, they don't look very, it's not doing really good, and just kind of keep the healthier ones in there. I'll transfer the stickers over to the bigger pot so I'll know which is which. So if I was going to do these, a lot of times what I do is I start these out in the greenhouse in the little mini coolers like I did a couple years ago. I'll go ahead and show you, link to the video I did a couple years ago right up here so you can see how I've done that in the past. But since we get so much more light now into our living room, this is why it wasn't working good for us before, but we took out all those big trees. Now we get a lot of light coming into our living room window, our big living room window, and the tomatoes are just loving it. That's why they're going crazy. But if I was going to transplant them out here directly into the greenhouse, I would just use these pots that I have sitting here that you've seen me, you know, kind of working some of these in the other video I did. And I've got horse manure and stuff in here. However, because this is going back in the house, I don't like putting all this stuff in here. So this is the one time that I'm going to use for things like these. I use a potting mix. I try to find organic. Our local store does have this natural organic potting mix plus fertilizer. And I was really glad to see them carrying this stuff here locally. But that's what I'm using in these pots, and just taking these right out and putting them into these bigger pots. So let's go ahead and get started. This is sitting kind of high, but I'm out of shelf space. So we'll get a little bit of dirt poured into each one of these, not too much, because what we want to do is just carefully take this out like that. Look at the roots. And set that down in there. And it's okay if it sits down a little ways because these are getting kind of tall, a little bit leggy because I don't use electricity. I don't have lights right above them. And then one thing you'll find about tomato seedlings is they can handle quite a bit. They can handle a little bit of rough handling, and you don't have to be super duper gentle with them. In fact, sometimes it almost seems like they kind of like it. Okay, so I just put that dirt around there and I just leave them. I'm not going to worry about separating those out until I'm ready to put them in the ground. And yeah, and then they'll separate out just fine. Again, they seem to not mind a little bit of rough handling. And to me, it's just a lot easier than having to mess with the constant, you know, separating out and repotting. Just keeping it simple and as compact as possible because of limited space, obviously. Okay, so there's that, and then I'll water these before I take them in the house, so that'll be done. Now, where's my pot? Okay, so let's make sure we get the black brandy. This is the black brandy wine. Get that sticker off and put it right on there so I don't get confused as to which ones these are. And then these I'll put back in here and probably get some more soil and start some other things in the house soon, or even just start these outside. So I'll do the same thing here. I've got the black Japanese. Gonna take these out carefully, a little bit carefully, set them in there, and then just pile the soil around them. Might as well take that sticker off now and get that on my pot. Okay. Whoops. And then I'll finish doing this and get them in the house. And if you want, you can spread them out and you know, if this is the way you want to do it. I mean, do it whatever way you want. I've tried it the traditional methods and I just came up with my own methods. I'm a very experimental kind of person and like to see what's the best way to do things. It's for us, you know, just because it says it this way in the book doesn't mean it's always the best way for each individual person. And what's also the easiest and space saving. So I'm going to finish this out. And one thing I wanted to mention is I do get people that ask me about these gloves. Oh, where do I get them? I get these on Amazon. And it's hard for me to find gloves, work gloves that are small enough to fit me. And I mean, they don't typically carry anything smaller than a small locally, and they're always too big on me. So I get the extra small. These are the Atlas Nitrile Tough. I'll go ahead and link to these below. I'm not sure if they still have the extra small, if you have small hands like me, but they have all various sizes. We even got Mr. Rain some of these in the extra large. So we love them. They're great gloves. You can buy them by a pack of, you know, a dozen pairs and really save money that way. Okay, so I'm going to get back to repotting all these, and I'll be back to you in just a bit. All right, so here they are looking a little worse for wear because they got beat around quite a bit. Don't beat them around too much. They don't like it that much. So just be gentle with them. And again, if you're someone who's wanting to sell your tomato starts or give them away, then yes, you're going to want to separate them out into smaller little pots, you know, like little 2-inch pots. Put one plant in each one, and that way you can sell them. You can, you know, graduate them up to bigger sizes, but I'm not interested in doing that. I may end up giving some away, and at that point, then that's when I go to put them in the ground and realize, okay, now I know which ones I'm going to keep, and I have more than enough. Then at that point, I go ahead and transplant some into separate pots and then give them to friends. In fact, I have a friend in mind that, you know, if all these keep doing well, then I'll go ahead and share some with her because she's starting a new garden this year. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed this quick little video on what's going on in the garden and how I do things, which is typically going to be very unique from the way most people do things. And I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Take care and God bless.